well experienced in the area, all aspects of your career search, human resources, and Linda was referred to me by one of the leading employment attorneys in Orange County, Marla Robinson, and so we share a mutual contact who are both on LinkedIn. And I want to let you know the reason that this event was possible is because of networking, and that is the topic that Linda's going to discuss for us. Thank you so much, Linda. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Everybody doing a lot so far? Yeah. Okay, good. I hope to keep that trend going in the right direction. I'm going to talk to you about networking today. We're going to talk about both online networking and also what you do in person at networking events like this. How many people love networking? So probably fewer than half the people in this room. And that's what I get pretty typically if I ask that question. A lot of people don't really feel comfortable, especially in-person networking. How many of you are much more likely to connect with somebody on Facebook or LinkedIn or some other method than do it online? Right? No? Let's try that question again. How many people prefer to connect with people online as opposed to in person? Okay, I'm actually really shocked by that because usually when I ask that question, most people put their hand up. They much prefer doing online than in person. I'm hoping to sort of change that up, and maybe today just reinforce what you already enjoy doing. If you are doing it in person, that's great. And just give you a couple tools for your toolbox. So when you go out there and you start networking, that's really going to be how you get your next job. 70 to 80% of all jobs are obtained from word of mouth. It's from networking. It's from who you know. So Becky was great. She showed you all of the stacks of resumes. That is literally what it looks like, okay? Now, I don't have an applicant tracking system. You know, I'm my own business, right? So mine is all in Outlook. So it's my inbox. I move it over into to a subfolder. But when I'm recruiting for a client, it is just a whole bunch of emails inside one folder, right? It looks exactly the same as that, whether you consider it a pile or inside an applicant tracking system, okay? What's going to get your resume to the top is if somebody picks up the phone and calls me and says, oh, you know what, we really need to talk to Jan, she's awesome, right? She's a friend of mine, I've known her for years. Okay, what's going to get your resume to the top is somebody you've worked with before, making that phone call, shooting an email, doing an introduction for you, okay? We're trying to cut down on our work. This is not an inclusive process, right? Like Becky told you, it's not that she's going to go through 300 resumes and go, hey, let me phone screen all 300. That is never, ever, ever going to happen. Her job is to take that pile and as quickly as possible, shrink it down to a manageable list that she can phone screen and an even smaller list that she's going to bring in for an in-person interview. Okay, so anything you can do to get yourself on that short list, you need to think about, okay? Now, here's something that's a statistic that's a little bit sobering, so I want everybody to hear it. Lee Hecht Harrison, which is a very well-known international outplacement firm, meaning they help people find their next job. A lot of times companies will hire Lee Hecht Harrison to provide this service. They say if you're looking for a job that's making less than $100,000 a year, it takes 25 conversations with decision makers to get that next opportunity. Okay, but here's the sobering part. They say it takes 14 conversations to get to the decision maker. That's 350 conversations you're going to have in order to get your next job. So how many conversations do you have this week? Okay? That's going to take you a long time, right? You're doing 10 weeks, taking you, 3/4 of a year essentially to get your next opportunity. And all of us that are in HR can tell you, we know people, we have friends, family, colleagues, job applicants that have been out of work for a year and a half, 2 years in this economy. Okay? So don't do what they're doing or what they're not doing. Okay? Hopefully you'll follow our advice today. I think with LinkedIn, you can probably shorten this 14 number down pretty dramatically, so I'm going to also follow with what Becky said and talk about it. Now, some of you in this room already have a job, which is great. Maybe you've already, in a career path that you really like, with a company you really like, and like Becky, I was in my first job for 14 years and thought I wouldn't leave, until I had that next opportunity. But there's no such thing as job security, and that's what everybody has to understand. For those of you that are employed, the worst thing you can do is stop networking. Okay, I talk to people all the time. People like Emily, who was at a company for 16 years and woke up one day and got laid off. Right? Never saw it coming. Never thought they'd leave. Never, anticipated or planned to leave. Right? You have to keep the strength of your networking going in order to have that fallback position when you are faced with trying to find another position. Now, a lot of you in this room go, but I don't know anybody, Linda. I just go to school. I'm not out in the workforce, or I don't go out and network, but you know a lot of people. right? You have a dentist, you have a doctor. Maybe you go sit on Sundays and watch your kid brother play soccer. You're sitting next to a guy, you have a conversation with him. Next thing you know, you find out he owns a business, or he's a recruiter at Nordstrom, or whatever it is. You strike up a conversation. That's networking. Okay? You know a whole bunch of the people. You just have to sort of get out of this, it's networking, and start thinking about, I talk to people all the time. That's really all you need to do, is just keep talking to people. Okay? Now, the thing that's really important about networking is not about who you know directly. You want to be thinking about who you know because you really want to get to the people they know, and the people those people know, and those people know other people, right? That's your network, okay? So I know a handful of people in this room. I didn't know Emily, like she mentioned. I didn't know Emily before, right? A mutual, she reached out to a friend. Her friend reached out to me, right? And next thing I know, I reached out to Jan. Jan reaches out to Emily, right? And now this whole chain. So Emily and Becky didn't know each other, but there's two of us, three of us actually, counting Marla, that connected them. Does that make sense? So you're really looking for those type of links as you go forward, because again, if I've applied for a job at Skyworks, you know, and I don't know Becky, but I know somebody that works there, I want to leverage that relationship because our mutual friend can go to Becky and say, hey, can you put in a good word for me? I worked with Linda before. She'd be great in this role. Okay? So this is an old screenshot out of LinkedIn for those of you that might recognize it. You actually can't even see this anymore, but I really love this screenshot because it tells that story. So this was taken a couple of years ago, and these were my connections. So if you look over here, it says 1,077. Those are first level connections. But what that really represents to me, I know those people, right? I'm already connected to them. They're in my Outlook. I talk to them. I know them. What I'm really looking for is this 233,000 number and this almost 8 million number, right? That is my extended network. So that's how you have to think about it when you're going out and networking is you already know these first level connections. Those are the people you're connected to on Facebook or LinkedIn, or they're in your Outlook or Yahoo or whatever email you're using. But you want to be able to get to these people. And that's the beauty of LinkedIn. So I'm going to back up what everybody else said here today. You absolutely have to have a LinkedIn profile. It is the first place I'm going to go. I don't know if you use it at Nordstrom, but it's the first place I go when I'm sourcing candidates for my clients. Becky, I told you, she's paying a lot of money for that service, so she can go and find people for her company. It's the first place I'm going to look. So if you're not on LinkedIn, I'm not going to see you. Now, the reason for that is if I subscribe, and I do actually right now subscribe to Monster, the resume search, because people can upload their resumes there, that is tens of thousands of dollars a year. Okay, I can do it on LinkedIn virtually for free. If I want to pay for a little bit of upgrade, not what Becky's paying for, but if I want to pay for a little bit of upgrade, it's $30 a month. That's a lot cheaper, right? So that's going to be where I go first. Again, LinkedIn, in terms of putting in context for you, 187 million people, probably more than that, because this is a statistic from, I think, September. They're adding 2 people per second, okay? 2 people per second. It's growing really fast. Clearly not as big as Facebook, but it's not going to get there, but that's important because this is business to business, all right? It's also going to show you how you're connected to companies. So if you said, for example, I want to go to work at Skyworks, I want to go to work at Nordstrom, I want to go to work with wherever, okay, it's going to tell you exactly where, how you're connected to that person. For those of you that don't know how to use LinkedIn at this point, a great website, they've got a blog for LinkedIn and you can go there and get help, but another website that's good in general for social media sites is Mashable.com, so just check that out when you get a chance. I do not have time to tell you how to use LinkedIn. I am going to be able to provide these slides to Eric, however, and I have 12 different tips. There's a couple things that are really important you can do right now. Make sure you upload a picture. Okay, it does not have to be a professional headshot. You don't have to spend a lot of money. It can be with your iPhone against a blank wall. Okay, but you don't want to be standing on a surfboard or in shorts or anything like that when you upload that picture. It has to be professional, as Becky said. You want to make sure you include all the information that both of them have talked about, your skill sets and everything, because when we go to search, think about it the way a recruiter would think. You all have gone out to Google to try to find something, right? I need whatever. I'm trying to connect with something. You put in keywords that you look for to find whatever it is you're looking for. We do the same thing as a recruiter. I'm putting in keywords, whether it's a specific skill set or software I want you to use or a title I want you to have or whatever. I'm doing the same thing you would do to find something on Google. So backtrack that, right? Reverse engineer that and say, okay, so if somebody was going to find somebody with my skill set, what are those words they might put in? Okay, it's not hard to do. You can also go and look at your competitors out there, people that have similar experience. look at, just sample sites and go, oh, I like that profile, I'm going to sort of construct mine the same way. Getting recommendations is going to be really huge, okay? I don't know how Becky feels about this. I love reading people's recommendations on here because I know they're not forged, okay? You send me something on a piece of paper, I'm assuming it's okay, right? But here you've got to be connected to the person and they have to have posted that. Maybe you wrote it for them, but they have to have posted it, okay? So I take these with a little bit more weight than everything else. I'm going to skip over this page. Just know when you get these slides, if you go look at them, there's just some tips here. Make sure you get your LinkedIn profile as complete as you can and as quick as you can. I love that Becky gave you a deadline at the end of the week. Okay, compare LinkedIn with Facebook. Facebook, over 1 billion users. Don't know how many people are active, but this to me is actually where I connect with friends and family. I don't use it for business at all. But there is a way that you can use this for a job search. I mean, you can post out there, you can share an update or tell them what's on your mind, I guess, on Facebook is what they'd say, and tell people what you're looking for. You can also connect with companies, you can like companies. You can also go to career pages of companies. So if you decide that you want to actually work at a company that has a career page, you can get right on there. They'll usually tie it back to their website, to their applicant tracking system, everything else. I also think you can use Twitter. How many people are on Twitter? Okay, so those of you that are on Twitter, it's really easy. You can actually, there's 500 million users, although probably about 30 of those are actually active. But more and more recruiters are actually tweeting jobs, okay? So what you want to know about Twitter is this, though, at the very bottom here. What you want to do is when you search on there, search hashtag job, and go back and search hashtag jobs, plural. It's not a Boolean search string, so jobs will not get job or vice versa. And the other thing to know about this, to put it in perspective for everybody, if I go post a job on Monster Career Builder, it's going to cost me about $400 for a 30-day posting. LinkedIn, about $300. Craigslist, $25. How much is it on Twitter? Free! Okay? So there are a lot of people out there that are using it, that are tweeting. You can also narrow it down by putting hashtag job and then maybe engineering or hashtag job Mission Viejo. You can do all sorts of things. Play around with it and just see. You'll start to see the recruiters that are on there, and then you can follow them, and then you'll see all of their postings. Becky already said this, I just want to reiterate it. Recruiters will search you out, okay? So make sure you're Googling yourself. I have a Google alert set up for my name, my business name. I want to make sure if somebody's posting something about me, I know about it. Love this quote by Warren Buffett. Takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it, okay? And we all HR people in this room can tell you story after story about people that mess this up, so don't be on that list. Let's talk about in-person networking for a little bit. A couple of tools that you absolutely want to get under your belt. One is a 30-second commercial. Does everybody know what I mean by that? So to answer that question, tell me about yourself, okay, that I absolutely hate, or hey, what kind of job you're looking for, or anything. You can wrap in all of the skill sets that Dan talked about. It's great for when you're at networking events. You can just throw information in for people that's going to help them remember you a little bit. So right here, again, make sure you put in some achievements, tell a story, talk about your strengths, but also make sure you tell them what they're looking for, what you're looking for. So many people say, I want a job. Okay, well, great. My brain cannot process want a job. Okay, you say, I want a job in engineering. Okay, we're getting a little bit closer. I want a job in engineering at a company in Orange County. Okay, now we're getting closer and closer. It's counterintuitive that the more specific you make your request, the more likely you are to get it because people can remember it, as opposed to, yeah, he's looking for an engineering job. Okay, what size company, what location, what type of engineer? Okay, be as specific as possible. Get personal business cards. Okay, there's nothing worse, what's your name? Caroline. Nothing worse. I sit down with Caroline and I'm talking to her and she has a job for me and she says, she goes, yeah, how can I reach you? And I'm like, sorry, right? There's nothing worse than that. You can go to vistaprint.com, you get 250 cards for free, okay? So you can put, just telephone and email, put your LinkedIn URL on there because that's like handing somebody your resume, right? You don't have to carry around a 1 or 2 page resume, right? Put your LinkedIn URL on there, and when you hand someone your business card, we can go check it out, okay? Let's see. All right, so let's talk about networking in person. So there's 3 different tips for this. First of all, there's so many different networking opportunities out there, like today's event as an example. But you can find meetups, you can find local LinkedIn groups. Eric, you told me that there's a LinkedIn group for Saddleback.
Yes. I was going to introduce it afterwards, but it's the Saddleback College Career Network.
Okay, Saddleback College Career Network. Okay, so there are groups like that are on LinkedIn. I don't know if that group also meets in person, but many of the local LinkedIn groups meet in person as well. So you can go on and search groups, find groups in this area. Saddleback Church has a huge career networking event every Monday night. Okay, you don't have to be a member of the church to go. They teach LinkedIn, they teach networking, they teach other things as well, resume strategies. Always think of your strategy before you go to this event. If you came today, oh, I just keep short now, sorry. Today, you know, as we walked in here, hopefully you gave some thought to what do I want to get today. Maybe it was just I want to learn a few tips. But maybe it's like, you know what, I want to meet 5 HR professionals and give them my resume. But think about it before you go so you have a plan of action. Know and use that 30-second commercial. That's really critical that you can tell people what it is that you do, what you're looking for, and again, be as specific as possible, and then be able to exchange business cards. Now, Becky already offered, I'm going to offer the same thing. You should all be reaching out to those of us in this room that are in HR and connecting with us on LinkedIn. And I was telling Jan I was going to set everybody on her. You should all be connected with Jan as well. But I said, you know what? There's probably 125 people in this room, and I bet not even 10 of you do it. Okay? So that's my challenge to you. All of you should be reaching out to all of us that are on LinkedIn and getting connected, because if you don't know who I know, and I know a lot of people. Okay? All right. When you go, you want to find common ground. You want to talk less and listen more. Okay? Nobody likes, like, over and over again, Caroline, let me tell you about myself, blah, 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 okay? So it goes on and on. You want to be more interested rather than interesting. You want to stand out, you want to be memorable, okay? But what you really want to do is make that person feel really good about themselves and that they're going to remember you. So that's going to go a lot further. Be genuine about it, okay? Stay present in the moment. If I'm talking to Caroline, but I'm like searching the room at the same time, or I'm on my phone or whatever, it's not going to go well, okay? Because I'm going to be like, whoa, I don't need her at all. I'm moving on. Also, identify ways of giving back to people, okay? How many people like helping other people, right? Okay, so many people go, oh, but I don't like asking for help. Well, you know what? Ask for help. Give them the gift of allowing them to help you, okay? Think about it that way, because everybody else likes to help each other. So when you help each other make those connections, or say, you know, let me introduce you to somebody. I don't know if it's a fit or not, but I have a friend who has a business, or whatever that can be. Always thank people that help you. This is so critical. Now, Becky, I haven't asked you this question yet, but I can pretty much guarantee the answer. Out of all the people that you interview on a weekly basis, how many people take the time to either send you a thank you email or thank you note card? What percentage? 10%. Yeah? 10%. How easy is it to stand out if you're in that 10%? Okay? It takes a minute. I don't care if it's an email or a handwritten note card. That I'll actually put on my desk for a while, I have to say, because it's so unusual, right? I love it. He's like, yep, okay? 10%, that's it. It does not take a lot to put yourself in that elite 10%, okay? So remember to thank whoever helps you. I hope this provided you with some tips, despite the microphone that keeps going out. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to all of you and for your time, and if I can do anything to help you, please let me know.